want to give Floyd Mayweather an arse kicking, it would be the most insane moment in sports history.
2020 seems to have many surprises up its sleeve. The latest being the multi-million fight between Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul. Today, we're going through 10 reasons why Floyd Mayweather will destroy Logan Paul. Number 10. Experience. Floyd Mayweather has been around the boxing ring since as far back as 1996. His first professional fight was against Roberto Apodaca, an up-and-coming boxer just like Floyd at the time. He's been boxing his whole life, a career spanning decades, and that's not even counting before he made his debut. Floyd has been training like a boxer, eating like a boxer, and has fulfilled his potential as a boxer over the years, with a perfect 50-0 record. He is arguably one of the best boxers to ever stand in the ring, and he's been doing it since the 90s. Logan Paul may have certain advantages like height and weight and athleticism, but nothing compares to the in-ring experience you can only gain by racking up fights and staying undefeated. Number 9. Superior skill set. Floyd has been called many things throughout his illustrious career. An overrated boxer who couldn't throw punches, a man who would crack sooner or later depending on the kind of opposition and put down on numerous occasions, but Floyd is yet to crack. You might think luck plays a big part in that, and it most definitely does, but you don't go 50 matches without being defeated once. It has already been argued that Floyd is one of the best boxers of all time, but what makes him the best? One of his most important skills is his ability to adjust. Floyd is a very intelligent boxer who can read his opponents during games and judge what he needs to do. In an interview, he talked about how important it was to use different angles against different opponents. Some people you beat with slick defense, and some guys you beat with your legs. In that interview, he talked about the fact that there are 40 to 50 different ways he can easily beat any fighter. That brings us to the next reason Floyd will beat Logan Paul. Number 8. Confidence. If you want to see a confident Mayweather, a good example would be his fight against DeMarcus Corley in 2004. DeMarcus had the upper hand during part of the fight where he landed some heavy punches, pushing Floyd back against the ropes. His response? To smile at his opponent while he gave it everything he had. Any form of fighting is unique. Each athlete knows the extent of their skill set based on the kinds of opponents they face. A fighter's strengths and weaknesses can only be put to the test when they're stuck inside a ring with someone much stronger than them. Floyd has been in that situation many times over his career. It's been rare, but the tides have turned against him, and during those short, fleeting moments, people believed that this would be the day his streak would end. But that day has yet to come. A big reason for that is Floyd's unmatched ability and his belief in his abilities to change a game even when his back is against the ropes. After the fight against Conor McGregor, who was one of the best UFC fighters at the time, he spoke of Floyd's ability to change his game plan multiple times during the fight. That is the mentality of a true champion. Number 7. Natural talent. During his early days as an amateur boxer, Floyd displayed signs of being unnaturally talented in the ring. His hands moved quickly, at blistering speeds that would catch opponents off guard. He could even take more damage than he could throw, and people just didn't have an answer for him. In his early fights, he would blister opponents and toss them aside with relative ease. Many believe that he was by far the complete package at his young age. He was never a TKO fighter to begin with, but his natural talent and his sheer force made the pay-per-view king at a young age. It would be quite foolish to say that Floyd was possibly the best young prodigy boxing has ever produced. There have been people better than him, more explosive than him at his age, but it takes hard work and natural talent to achieve the feats Floyd has in the ring. That brings us on to the next point. Number 6. Mentality monster. Anyone can be a gifted fighter. Some people just have it in their genes. It comes as second nature to them. It is also true that there have been better hitters than Floyd, but there is probably no one who has a better winning mentality than Floyd. He would be the first one to hit the gym every morning and the last to leave. That is the kind of dedication it takes to dominate the sport over 15 years. One of his greatest quotes being, "Do you think I gave up my whole life just to say there's someone better than me out there? Absolutely not." Number 5. Ring awareness. Andre Berto summarized Floyd's awareness in the ring perfectly when he talked about their fight. He told reporters that Floyd was nothing like anyone else he had ever faced. Even after a round had finished, he could see Floyd arching out of his seat, trying to get a better look at his opponent. He wanted to know how they were breathing, how tired they were, and how much damage they'd taken. With age, Floyd's IQ in the ring had just seemed to grow better and better as his knowledge of the game increased. Floyd is the best fighter at taking an opponent's strength and turning it into their weakness, which is why when it comes to IQ and ring awareness, no one can touch him. Number 4. False hope. After buying out of his contract, Floyd began to control his narrative. He made more money than any boxer had ever seen and turned into a celebrity. In those years, Floyd's production painted him as this Thanos-like entity, who was waiting for a worthy opponent to defeat him. He was the ultimate antagonist, and everyone wanted him to lose. As people, we are drawn towards the narrative of the underdog, the fighter who overcomes obscurity and, against all the odds, defeats the unmovable object that is in front of them. Floyd, on the other hand, thrives in that role. He may have leaned into the superstar lifestyle of cars, money, and women, but he never let his game drop even once. Never has there been a version of Floyd Mayweather that has not been at the best he could be at. The narrative surrounding Logan Paul's fight with Floyd is quite similar. Logan expects to be that person. He is preying on that 1 in a million chance that Floyd doesn't turn up as he has been for the past 20 years. Time will tell what happens in the fight, but we've all seen this story play out before, and the hero doesn't win here.
I got a question for you. You down to fight me?
You a fighter? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fighter.
The thing is, you know who I am, but I don't know who you are.
I know you're lying for a fact. Floyd, I've been in your gym so many times.
Number 3. Turning the tide. Mayweather met Shane Mosley in 2010 in a high-profile fight, which turned out to be a unanimous decision win for Floyd Mayweather. But if you watch the fight back, Shane had the upper hand by round 2 and landed a punch that brought Mayweather to his knees. The fact that Floyd hasn't taken a punch like that in years solidifies the case in his favor, but what happened in the rounds that followed was even more remarkable. Floyd changed his game and adopted a unique fighting style to counter Shane. The judges gave the victory in Floyd's favor, which is a testament to how difficult it is to beat Floyd. No wonder no one has done it yet.
Showmen, just larger than life personalities, warriors from different worlds, and afterwards I actually said this.
Number 2. His method. Many people have called Floyd's brand of boxing boring because you rarely see him fighting blow for blow. Instead, Floyd takes on a more delicate approach. He barely ever opens himself up and never throws unnecessary punches. If Floyd lands a couple of punches that he believes win him the round, he's more than okay with that. While many may call it a cowardly method of winning, Floyd calls it smart. He doesn't need to go out and try to beat the life out of his opponents when he can win. That's all that matters in the end. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you roll over the finish line in the first place. Number 1. Logan Paul. While this is a big fight in terms of revenue it's bringing in, it could hardly be labeled as a contest. Floyd has been boxing all his life, while Logan Paul started boxing 2 years ago. It shouldn't be taken away from Logan that he was an excellent wrestler in his school days and is a gifted athlete, but boxing is a craft that Floyd has mastered and perfected over the many years he's been in the ring. Logan Paul might have advantages, but there is nothing that compares to the smarts, expertise, and dedication Floyd brings to the ring. That is why Logan Paul does not stand a chance. That's a wrap for 10 reasons why Floyd Mayweather will destroy Logan Paul. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.